Today we are touring the Lyon Air Museum in the city of Santa Ana, California. It is attached to John Wayne Airport. I had no idea this place was here until recently, so I'm looking forward to going in and checking it out. It supposedly has World War II memorabilia, aircraft, as well as some cars. And I believe it has Hitler's car. So anyway, I'm looking forward to that. So let's go on in and check it out. That's right.
I'll lock that door up there.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, we'll start here with a DC-3. And it's a Douglas aircraft. It looks like the first flight was on December 17, 1935. And it sits here at the Lyon Air Museum. Beautiful aircraft. Very well restored, huh? Love anything that has to do with airplanes. And there are some motorcycles underneath it, so. A little more of the DC-3. Before we move on, some of these motorcycles appear to be German. Yep, 1933 Sondeck K400. Not really sure what that is. I'm not really familiar with motorcycles. Vincent. Another Vincent. Actually, all three of these are Vincents. 1955 Vincent and 1954 Vincent. This one has a little side cart. Pretty cool. Little Lyon Air Museum theater. Nice. This is a U.S. Army Air Force deployment map. All the different battles. You'll see Midway, Iwo Jima, Saipan, all the different islands, and the Pacific Theater of Operations. That's what this map depicts. All the different conflicts and battles throughout World War II. Pretty neat. As you know, during this period, the Army Air Corps was still part, or the Air Force was still part of the Army. And it wasn't until, I believe, 1948 that it became part of the Air Force, or it was a split branch of the military. This is a Douglas C-47, known as the Skytrain. The Skytrain, it was British and was developed from the DC-3 as well. And it was a military transport carrying troops and cargo following gliders. I'm sorry, and towing gliders under General Eisenhower, who was the Supreme Commander of the Allied forces in Europe. Beautiful plane. Let me kind of take you around here. This is a better look at it. Not really sure what that says. We'll span. Anyway, check out the propellers. Huge, beautiful. Big plane, cargo. Obviously a cargo plane for troops and equipment. I believe it says Willa Dean. Something Dean. Anyway, I just love looking at planes. Wow, that's nice. A little bit more of the back side of the one we saw a little while ago. The 26B. This place is pretty big. Close up over here. This is the Boeing Stearman 75 biplane. Wow. Great looking aircraft. It says on here that the 75 is one of the best known biplanes of all time, and served primarily as a trainer in the 30s and 40s, serving under different designations including the PT-13, PT-17, and PT-18 per Army regulations, and the NS2, 3, 4, and 5 according to the Navy designations. Stearman, as he was commonly known, was powered by one of the 3 available power plants, 3 different engines. Beautiful. This one seems to have been used by the Army instead of the Navy. As you can see, it says U.S. Army Air Corps. And this is a B-25 Mitchell, North American B-25. Let's go take a look at this one. Obviously the B designation means it was a bomber. This B-25 was named the Feeding Frenzy, I'm sorry, and I'm assuming those are kills. Obviously a bomber. Wow, nice big engines. Appears to have some missiles in addition to the bombs from the bay attached to the wings. Beautiful aircraft again. This is a Cessna Bird Dog, apparently built between 1950 and 1964, and it was used primarily during the Korean and Vietnam Wars. It was part of the Army, but also the Air Force and the Marines used them as well. So this one appears to be an Army one. Not really sure exactly what they were used for. It did see combat duty though, according to this sign here. So anyway, it's nice piece of history. This is a North American AT-6, primarily a trainer. Pretty shiny. This is the Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress. This is one of the most used aircraft, bombing aircraft in World War II. If you are familiar with any of the World War II armament, you'll notice that a lot of bombs were dropped with this thing. Take a look at those bomb bay doors. Really cool. This is the Fuddy Buddy. Let's check out those bomb doors. I don't know if you can see it. The light picks it up or not. You can also see that this has 4 huge engines, 2 on each wing, and then check out the front gunner. Yep, this is pretty cool. the B-17, B-17G to be specific. Now, by the time I joined the Air Force, all these planes were extinct. I worked around some of the other aircraft, some of the other bombers like the FB-111, the B-52. The B-52 is one of the old aircraft that's still in service to this day. In fact, it's getting refurbished as we speak to do another 20, 30, 40 years. Came back to the B-25, I'm sorry, the B-25s, because I wanted to check out this engine that's out here. This is the engine for the B-25. Amazing. As I stated earlier, in addition to the many aircraft here at the Lyon Museum, they also have numerous vehicles and some motorcycles. Here's the Panther, 1932 Panther with a sidecar. Appears to be British, at least going by the flag anyway. Here's another sidecar contraption, 1942 BMW R75. I'm assuming this was German, obviously, BMW, but not sure if it was used by German. They do have a lot of German memorabilia here, a lot of cars, including the Hitler car, which I'll get to later. But yeah, I'm seeing a lot of German made stuff. Now, here's a good old American military Jeep, a 1942 Ford. I guess Ford made the Jeep back then, huh? Maybe just the engine. Anyway, this was very widely used in World War II and subsequent battles as well. But this museum is pretty much a World War II museum, so we're going to stick with World War II. Nice. I'm a fan of Jeeps, especially since I do own a Jeep myself. I have a 1997 Jeep TJ. 97 TJ that I really enjoy. So yeah, I do love Jeeps. Another motorcycle with a sidecar. This is a 1943. It looks like Kurogani, I don't know. Anyway, obviously another German mobile, whatever you want to call this thing, sidecar. Those of you who are familiar with Helm's Bakery, this is a 1948 bakery truck. That's how your bread and bakery goods were delivered back in the day, before you had a truck to the store to get them yourself. Very nice. Let's see. Yep, you can see where all the bread trays are at. Wish they'd bring something like this back, huh? Pretty nice. Bake your favorite bread. Here's the interior. As you can see, there's plenty of space in the front to store things, and then more storage space for, I guess, more bakery goods. And looks like it only had room for a driver. This guy working on the aircraft. Before we move to the Hitler car, here's another one that's kind of interesting. Looks kind of like a... It's a Volkswagen, but it looks like it's something that belonged out in the desert, maybe in Africa. It's a 1944 Volkswagen Kobo wagon. World War II, light military vehicle. And let's see what else. Let's take a look at it. Okay, here we are at the Hitler vehicle. This was used by Hitler himself when during the invasion of Europe in 1940. He actually rode into... When Germany invaded France in 1940, this vehicle carried Hitler from Germany into Paris, actually. on June 30th, 1940. The first and only time Hitler visited France during the war. Later, the car returned to Germany, where he saw service in Berlin before returning to Hitler's mountainous retreat, where he was seized by French forces at the conclusion of the war. Most politicians of the period, and even now, like to ride in the back of the car. Hitler himself preferred to ride in the front. So he had this vehicle modified to include the seat going up and also a grab handle on top where he could hang on and stand up as they're going through the city as a conquering king, I guess. Fortunately, that didn't last too long. Wow, actual history. As you can see, this vehicle is so heavy, it actually has a double axle, what is known as a tag axle, right? And these tires supposedly, ironically, were provided by Israel, by the Jewish people, recently when it was modified because they couldn't find tires that would fit this vehicle because of the weight anywhere else. That's a bit of history that I learned myself here recently. So I don't know how much of it is true, but sounds pretty interesting anyway. So yeah, this is Hitler's vehicle. And a lot of the modifications, like I said, were done specifically for him to accommodate his big ego, standing up in the passenger front seat. Yeah, here you can see Hitler riding in the front, waving at the crowds. Handles were mounted on the windshield and the side pillar above the rearview mirror to help maintain balance. And there's also a special holster that was built into the kick panel. He liked to carry a gun with 2 ammunition clips when he was riding around. Here you see the gun pouch that was referred to in that little text there. As I said earlier, this museum is attached to the John Wayne Airport. I've actually never been to the John Wayne Airport, so this is a good opportunity for me to also experience that as well. There's some airplanes taking off and landing. I've heard quite a few since I've been here, so let's take a look and see what we see. See a helicopter over there taking off. Good timing. There's a variety of aircraft here, from small to big commercial aircraft as well. It is a fully functioning airport, so you see landings of commercial aircraft as well as many smaller commuter aircraft. Now let's take a look at some of the display cases that are here. What is this? Air Force Nancy Robinson Bessemeyer, looks like. West, women in the air services. There are several display cases here. You can see here some of the ammunition, 50 cal ammunition with a Browning machine gun, 50 caliber machine gun. If any of you ever served in the military and had the opportunity to carry an M60 or an M50 or a caliber 50, you'll know how heavy that thing is. I like these little display cases that have the model airplanes in them. Those are really cool. Model aircraft. That looks like a camera. Yep, that's what it is. Aircraft camera. This is a bomb site, looks like. I guess to drop the bombs. I thought it was a camera at first, but it looks like it's a bomb site. Yeah, I guess you have to be pretty precise in trying to drop. And back then, the technology that we have today did not exist. So obviously, it still looks pretty impressive, though, whatever it is. Let me see what this does. You can hear the airplane going over the bombs. I mean the site. Very cool. Another German car that we missed earlier. I don't know how I didn't see it, but anyway, here it is. Definitely World War II. This 1939 Tempo Geländewagen by a company that was founded in 1924 that was used exclusively in World War II. And I know for a fact that if you see any World War II documentaries or movies, you'll see cars that look like this. Pretty interesting. So the wheels in the middle, those are spare wheels. More memorabilia. I really like the model airplanes. I wish I had the patience to put some together myself, but I don't. So I would just admire these from afar. Some books, military books. All these glass cases contain some really neat stuff. This is uniform and personal equipment. U.S. Army Air Service, First Lieutenant Victor Picard. Display case after display case. Different people from World War II. This is Sergeant Christus Carboberis. His uniform with the medal. You see a purple heart on his lapel. More glass case displays. Okay, this is the tribute to the mighty 8th Air Force. This is General Doolittle's crew. If you remember the Doolittle raids, famous for the Doolittle raid. Nice. Another vehicle. This is a 1941 Dodge reconnaissance truck. I assume it was used primarily for reconnaissance, although this does not seem to be German. Obviously this one's American. U.S. Army. But like I said, everything in this museum is all World War II themed, so everything that you're seeing here, there's another Jeep, it's a World War II. So if you're a war buff, history buff, or whatever kind of buff you are, if you have any kind of interest, this is a neat place to come to. And one more German motorcycle sidecar. Wow, the Germans did believe in their BMW sidecars, huh? They sure have a lot of different variations of these.